Not qualified for the promotion, then I'll just do my job. A few years ago I worked for a furniture store in the back store. My job consisted of unloading and loading trucks, assembling furniture, and placing it on the main floor of the store. After around 6 months there, my supervisor announced he resigned, meaning his post was up for grabs. I had all the technical requirements, so I applied, but they gave the job to another one of my colleagues who had more experience, which was totally reasonable. After maybe 1 year, my then supervisor just stopped coming into work for no reason. He just decided he had enough and he just left. Number 2 weeks notice or anything. So while the director tried to get to him, I took over the role of supervisor. I was the one with the most experience, which means that combined with my regular work, I was now the one telling people what to do, when, doing the schedule, and all the paperwork for the shipment. 3 weeks later my colleague was officially fired by my director. In those 3 weeks I kept doing the job of supervisor, and doing it pretty well, so I thought that the promotion would come to me, but my director did nothing. I went to see him, explained what I had been doing and asked if I got the promotion, to which he answered that I was not qualified, nor smart enough to do this job. After some thinking I just decided, that if I was not smart enough to do the job, then I shouldn't do it, so I went back doing my regular job, and I also started looking for something else. 4 to 5 days after I stopped filling in, my director comes see me in the back store asking why the job isn't being done. After all, without me to organize it, nothing was getting out of the store to be delivered to the client. I just reminded him of our previous meeting and he told me, yeah, I remembered that. What I meant is you're not qualified to get the pay bonus for the job. You still have to do the job, you idiot. I have to admit I still wonder how tough that would work. Still a bit dumbfounded, I just told him that if I wasn't going to get paid for it, I certainly won't do the job, and that considering we were already short staff with my old supervisor gone, he should be a bit more polite. Apparently, this was an unreasonable request, a total lack of respect to him and worthy of firing me. Yep, still don't get how that would fix anything, but hey, he's the boss. I packed everything and left, knowing that the back store, which needed 5 people to operate, was now down to 3, with the most experienced worker having a total of 4 months. It only took my boss one day to call me back and telling me, maybe he went overboard, and that perhaps we could arrange something for the promotion, to which I replied that I would not be coming back since I had a few interviews lined up. I hung up while he was still cussing at me. After a few months at my new job, I heard some surprising news. The store had closed down after 2 other back store employees resigned. Gotta admit that it felt good to see my old boss finally get what he deserved. TLDR, my old boss doesn't want to promote me but still want me to do the job, fires me for not accepting to, and soon after I left for a better job, lost his shop.
Now to the comments. Yeah, I remembered that. What I meant is you're not qualified to get the pay bonus for the job, you still have to do the job, you idiot. I think at this point, if he had to accept that he'd made a mistake and that you had the job and the pay, everything would have been okay. But no, he's the boss. He definitely couldn't be wrong. He got what he deserved.
Makes you wonder why 2 people in that role ended up quitting so quickly.
Not to mention how the next most senior employee has only been there for 4 months. Gee, I wonder why this place has such a high turnover. /s. This is such a common theme in this sub. Do the extra duties, but don't get paid for them. No wonder these businesses fail.
You will do extra work for the same salary or get fired. Surprised Pikachu face month later when person quits.
Holding a whip to motivate employees is the wrong way to do it. Smart employers trade in the whip for a carrot on a stick. Why is that they expect us to do the work without getting paid for it? What do they expect?
Their logic is, well, he did extra work without extra pay one time/week/month, so he surely will do it without more pay forever. Usually that comes with the mindset, I'm the greatest and nicest boss who ever was humble enough to bestow his presence upon his employees, followed by a surprised Pikachu face when people are quitting left and right.
Don't forget to sprinkle in a bit of "we're a family and in tough times we need to pull together to get through this bullshit." There are lots of bosses, like yours, who look at their payroll, see that it is the largest business expense, and think that it is the biggest liability, and fail to see that the employees the payroll pays for are their biggest business asset. And then treat their employees accordingly. They squander their biggest asset and go under.
Same thing with IT support. All IT does is cost money. Sure. Let's just have all the IT guys take a month of vacation all at the same time and let's see how well your business is running after that.
The IT stories I read on Reddit are great. Read several with these scenarios and it's always a good chuckle. Qualified enough to do the job but not to get paid for it. The mental gymnastics of some people. Also a witch is a lady who does sorcery. The word you want is witch.
Perhaps a grammar witch changed the witch to witch. Which witch is it though?
If this happened in a dry area it could have been a sandwich. Even better is when they try to actually promote you but not give you the pay increase. That's always a lark. Or promise, "Oh yeah, we'll look into that pay increase down the line / at your next review."
They did that to me and then stiffed me on my review. I stepped back down after a year and since my supervisor pay was still within the pay range of a subordinate they just let me keep my $2,000 a year raise to go back to doing peasant work. Either that or they were so inept that they didn't do the pay retraction paperwork.
The same thing here was promised to be matched to an offer I then refused, and when review time came, I was lowballed. Just means next time is straight to handing in the notice. Now that is a nice turn of events. He got his comeuppance. Treat your employees like shit and you will get burned. Hopefully Op got a new job from one of the interviews, probably why the colleague just up and left, just didn't want to take all the crap coming their way from the boss. Years ago, I worked overnight maintenance at Walmart. My store manager got his hands on a new store in a bigger city, and he invited any of us that wanted to transfer to come with him. I jumped at the opportunity. I was the number 2 maintenance guy at my home store, and I knew pretty much everything about the job. When I moved, the head of maintenance worked in the daytime, and knew nothing about the job, really, so, management relied on me for the night shift. Which I did. But the head started changing around things. He messed with our schedules a lot, made us come in later than the other night shift people, and we had to leave later. Our lunches were scheduled later, so a lot of times it was just me by myself. And then he started messing with our routines. So that at 7 a.m., when the morning rush was in full swing, I was trying to scrub the floors. No one would listen to me and kept insisting that I follow the head's orders. So, he wanted to be head of maintenance, he could be head of maintenance fully. I stopped ordering, I stopped guiding the others, I stopped doing anything that was even remotely the head of maintenance's job. We started getting complaints from customers, and, of course they came to me about it, wondering why I was scrubbing so late in the morning, and all that. I just shrugged and said, "Ask Oscar. You all told me to do things his way, that's what I'm doing." Then Oscar came to me to find out why some things weren't getting done anymore. I said, "That's head of maintenance's job. Not mine." Bulletin, but I don't know how to do any of that. I just shrugged and went about my job. They eventually offered me a raise and a made-up title, assistant to the regional manager. I declined. Ducked them. God, I do not miss Walmart. If my boss ever told me I wasn't smart enough to do something, I would quit on the spot. So many bosses do this. They treat their best workers like shit and then think they won't leave. Then act surprised when they do. But how can you? I treated you like the shit you are. 9 times out of 10, the bosses who do this know danged well how good that worker is. They're afraid that the star worker is going to take their job, hope it was his company and not someone else's. I once got told my skill job wasn't a skill job and was worth minimum wage plus a little bit. Well, that's one way to get rid of your employee. I resigned saying I was going to do the same thing self-employed, and I got a phone call within a week asking if I wanted a month's worth of work. LOL.
The answer is I sure do want a month's work. Here is the contract for you to sign in order hire my business to complete a job. You are self-employed now and can more easily debate the terms of the contract, like asking 10 times what they previously paid you.
At least 10 times.